So what if I told you this was a snatch block? Today on BleepinJeep, we're going to talk about the new Custom Splice snatch block versus the old, serious, heavy-duty snatch block. I'm going to have some soft shackles, and in order to run the new snatch block, can't have my old cable, so I got to trade it out for a rope. So let's do this. My brakes are getting... Huh? Oh, I got a slap bird's nest. We got the line on. We're going to go out and put tension on the drum, re-spool it in tight. Always remember, keep 10 wraps on your drum. You never want to get less than that with a rope. So let's go do that, and we're going to check out the new snatch block, the party pulley, the snatch block. We're going to go check it out. Let's do it. So should we hook it to the ball? We're going to hook it to the ball. I don't care what y'all say, we're hooking it to the ball. This ball is rated for 10 ton. It's 20,000 pounds, yo.
Now make sure it pulls on the gray part.
Yeah. So that's locked on. Oh yeah, Matt's right. You don't want it here. You don't want any pulling to go on these two loose areas here. You want to make sure you're always on the abrasive side of things. So we're going to go like this. Do it.
Don't mind Jeremy's house over there.
Yeah, that's my home away from home. Hey, which is going to move? The Jeep or the truck? What do you think?
Jeep or truck? Place your bets now. Place your bets now. We're downhill. Truck is downhill. Jeep is uphill. And just in case it won't pull, we got the mini bike ready.
For recovery?
For recovery.
For recovery.
You're already into your little saver thing.
Huh?
You're already into your saver.
Hey, that's what the saver's for, man. It's ready to rock through the party pulley. It's ready. The snatch block of all snatch blocks, huge weight savings between this and this. Now, the concern is, as I posted on Instagram, Bleepin Rose, BleepinJeep, 2 Instagrams, the snatch block here, people were concerned of heat. And would it start melting the line or doing this because it's spinning? And we put little marks on here so we can see it spinning. Remember, duty cycle of winches is 20%, right? So I guess you're supposed to pull for 20% and let it cool for 80%. I don't really understand entirely what you mean by 20 and 20%. But again, moral story, you're supposed to use a winch sparingly and then let it rest and then use it again and let it rest so it doesn't get too hot. And that's what you're supposed to do. So keep that in mind. If you winch procedure correctly, this probably won't ever get that hot. And then for 2, when have I ever used a snatch block for so long that anything could ever have gotten hot? Like you flip a rig over and it's like 15 feet of snatch blocking. You pulling it back on the trail, 15 foot of snatch blocking, 20 feet of snatch blocking. So I don't think you're ever using like 100 feet of snatch block. I mean, not in our world, but let's get started.
A lot of times you have to use multiple snatch blocks if you're doing something really complicated. So you can't really carry 18 of those, but you could carry a bunch of these because they're so tiny and small. So.
I mean, it doesn't, what is it? I don't even know. I don't think it weighs a pound, probably. It's, I mean, it's, I don't even know. Like, it didn't weigh anything. It's like, I don't even know. I mean, I guess I don't have a scale that would even measure that low, but it doesn't weigh much at all, so.
Let's try it.
So. No damage to anything. Didn't even wear the anodizing or nothing off of that, so couldn't have been that much. Normally use it for just a second.
Let's use it for 20 minutes straight and see what happens.
Duty cycle, Matt. We just went over that. But I don't know what to do. Just think of all the cool stuff you can do with a party pulley like the Custom Splice snatch block.
It's warmer, but it's not like hot. It's probably like 110 degrees or something.
Oh yeah, it's not hot at all. I mean, that ain't nothing. That's like no worse than it sitting in the sun.
Yeah.
If that was sitting in the sun, it would be hotter than that.
Yeah.
And I mean, we pulled, what is that, 35 feet? And I know that's not extreme load, but we pulled probably 35 feet. Every scenario is different. I mean, you may be flipping something on its side.
Tell us,
you know?
Tell those people who've never used a snatch block the situations you might be.
So, say you get stuck, your buddy's in front of you, right? He doesn't have a winch, he gets stuck, and there's no way to pull him forward because he didn't have a winch, but you've got one and you're behind him. So you run your winch cable up to a tree that's in front of him, and then come back to him, and then you can allow to pull him up even though you're behind him. You could be, a guy could be on his side and rolled off the trail, but there's no way for you to get beside him. Trails are only 15, 20 feet wide. So maybe there's no way for you to get in the trail sideways and pull him. So if he flipped off or slid off the trail, you run your cable or rope up into a tree and snatch block it with the pulley across the trail back to him in a short distance to be able to pull him back up where he should be into the trail. And then, like we were discussing a second ago, when you have it set up like this, you have now doubled your winch power. So instead of it being an 8,000 pound, you're now a 16,000 pound. But again, if you do that, make sure all your supplies can handle that. Make sure that your tree saver or your soft shackles or bow shackles, whatever you're going to use, can handle, you know, high wattage or high poundage like that. Don't use an ATV on a big old winch like this or something.
So that scenario happened to me just a couple weeks ago actually. I laid my rig on its side and the only person around was somebody behind me, so they just pulled up behind me, snatch blocked off a tree over to the Jeep. That way you could pull the Jeep sideways like this even though the winch was coming from back here, back behind me. Yeah,
you can pretty much change the angle. I mean, you can change the angle anything. I mean, it could be pretty much any angle from, what would that be, straight on 180 all the way back around to 0. So you could create any angle you wanted to as long as there was a tree nearby or you had enough straps or something else to get to it. You remember when you broke your tire off on Trail 15? You remember that?
Yeah.
He broke his tire off in like the gnarliest of gnarly spots you could ever break a tire off. And we were way up in the woods snatch blocking back at some extreme angle, like 20-degree back to him to lift the cab up or the cage up to get the tire out so we can pull him back down the mountain. All kinds of situations you get into when you're being dumbass in the woods. All kinds. And when you ride with dumb people.
Hey now. How do they anodize that? Is it like all the way through or is it just on the outside? Because it's not...
0 where?
Yeah, can you see that?
Can you see that? That's perfect. I'm going to say it's on the outside. I don't know enough about that. But
it's strange that it doesn't rub off.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely some friction, but what does the soft shackle look like? Is it good? Yeah, all good in the hood, huh? I like it. So with my experience, whenever you bust out the snatch block and the party pulley, things typically aren't going all that great. So doing recovery, like full blown, trying to get yourself or somebody out of the woods or whatever. So I've crawled up banks like super steep and whatever, and by the time you get a tree saver and a snatch block and a cable or whatever, it gets really heavy. So every little bit of weight savings that you can take with you up the hill, I'm gonna say is a plus. So I'm not saying I'm looking forward to the next time I get to use the party pulley, but it's substantially lighter, so that's gonna be a plus. So, and then you got like total redneck shenanigans. I don't know what Matt's doing right now, but we're about to try some more shenanigans. That's all I gotta say. So let's see what he's come up with. I gotta ask, bro, what are you doing?
Just having fun.
He's awful proud of his mini bike. I'm thinking we're in like a weird tug of war contest. I think the odds are in my favor. I'm really not sure. I don't know what he's doing, but he's got some redneckery going on over here. I don't know what he's doing. What's your verdict? Better?
I think so, especially the weight savings.
Yeah, it doesn't weigh anything. I mean, I don't know, is that a pound, pound and a half maybe?
Probably a pound, yeah.
Probably a pound. So, soft shackle, Slides right through. Really easy, very simple. So I like it. I don't carry a snatch block because they're so heavy, loud, clunky, bangy. I just rely on somebody else. So I'm happy to have it because now I'll actually carry one. So make sure to check out these other videos right here. And until next time, Bleepin' Rose out, BleepinJeep.
Adios.
Adios. See you next time, guys. It was kind of freaking scary, bro. I was like, oh, push away. I gotta look at that. It may look dumber than hell.